Welcome back to Popular Technology Radio. I'm Gregg Stebben here with Jason Masters.
Hello.
Hey, Jason. So I have this very cool black device in my hand. It's a high-powered dual-band Wi-Fi range extender, Jason.
It's so many adjectives.
But here's the cool thing about it. It will blast through concrete for 10,000 square feet of coverage.
Wow.
Do you want that?
I do, because I don't have hardwired internet in my house, so everything I use is Wi-Fi.
So that's why I brought Lacey Neddo from Amped Wireless on the show. Lacey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet. It's great to have you here. I have to tell you, sometimes things do a great job, but they're not much to look at. This is a really nice looking, it's nice to hold. That's not the goal. It's not a holding thing. You plug it in and you use it. But you guys did a really nice job on the design of this.
Thank you. We appreciate that. It's huggable. If you want to hug it.
I want to talk about the technical side of this because this really does an amazing thing. But you even put a texture on the front of it that's like you'd like to have it on your cell phone. It's kind of soft and silky.
Soft and silky. I like that.
It really is. Have you ever stopped to appreciate?
So you're saying you haven't snuggled it?
Yeah, I think you should. So
I haven't, but the way you're describing it, I think we have a few, obviously laying around. I think I'm going to do something.
If you could add it to a hot water bottle, that'd be quite an accomplishment. So is this really true that this thing will blast through concrete?
It can. Every environment is different, but it is a high-power device, the highest power of its class. So it's going to give you the best opportunity to get through your concrete. But, of course, that depends on how thick your concrete is and if there's mesh in it, or there's all kinds of things that most people don't know that can affect your Wi-Fi signal.
Well, and that's what we want to ask you about, because here's the reality. I think people hear the words Wi-Fi extender and they think, you know what I mean? I mean, they think, no, there is no such thing. And you're saying, yes, there is. And you're saying you'll get through concrete even. So how does this work?
Well, the range extenders, they're actually pretty simple. The cool thing about them is that they're wireless. All they need is a power outlet to run. So you take the range extender, you place it somewhere about halfway between where your router is located and where your Wi-Fi dead spot is, where you have no signal at all. And we say somewhere where you're getting about a 70% signal strength from your router. You plug it into the wall.
Before you go on, is there a way for someone to know where they have about 70% signal strength?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a Wi-Fi analytics tool app that's downloadable to Android and PCs. There are a number of apps, but you can always download ours. It's called the Wi-Fi analytics tool by Amped Wireless.
Are there also some available for iPhone?
There are, yeah. They're less in-depth, I'd say, as ours is, and that's just a thing with Apple. They don't want people tapping into the Wi-Fi radios in their phones. So there's some limitations on the Apple app, but they're available. So they can give you a pretty accurate reading of how strong the signal is. Ours can show you how much activity is going on every channel. It'll pick up all this, all the Wi-Fi networks that are within range, and can give you a reading of their signal strength and how many people are on it, and a really cool in-depth look of your network. More in-depth than what the average person probably needs, but it's really cool for the techies that want to dive in.
For geeks like us and our listeners.
Well, this is interesting. I actually, when Gregg started telling me about this, for some reason I was considering this would be something that you would attach or plug into your Wi-Fi router, and it would act as like an extra antenna. But what you're doing is making like a repeater for it or something like
Correct.
that.
So
that's cool.
There are devices like that. There's boosters and there's access points that are exactly that. They plug in via Ethernet to the router itself. But, they're limited. Most people don't have a lot of control over where their router is stuck in their house, especially if you have an older home. Those cables are just where they are. And if you don't want to invest the thousands of dollars to run cables and move things around, you're just stuck with that router where it is. And sometimes it's in the garage.
That's me. And my brand new 100-year-old house.
Exactly. Yeah. My house was built in the 40s, and I have one cable, and it's in my living room but it's coming out by the front door, and I have to like put it under the floor and under the couch, and it's a pain.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I find the place to put this where I have about 70% signal, kind of approaching the place that's a dead zone. And
Exactly.
once I do that, the dead zone's no longer a dead zone?
That is the idea. Exactly.
Wow.
It grabs the signal from your router, and then it repeats it into this new extended network. So it has a separate SSID. You can set a separate password if you wish for the network that comes out of the range extender. It emits from the range extender.
So only one.
so it'll
You can
give
make it so only certain people have access to the extended range.
Exactly.
That's
you
fun.
Can,
Wow,
you can
that's
set
awesome.
up multiple networks on the range extender, and so you could, kick your kids and their friends onto one of those networks and set them up with a password and
So
change it when they don't.
one's the porn or the gaming network, and the other one's the family network.
Exactly. You got to separate them.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's my two questions for you. A, price, and B, is this going to take me like 5 minutes to set up once I figure out the right place to put it?
It's pretty simple. Of course, there's a lot of settings. You could go in there if you really wanted to get into it, depending on your technical level. But it really takes, I'd say, no more than 5 minutes to get it set up. And then the other cool thing is that you could set it up right next to the router, and then you could unplug it and move it around your house and find the best place for it. And it'll grab that signal right away once you set it up one time. You can unplug it from the power and move it around, find the best place, go upstairs or wherever that dead spot is that you're trying to solve for, and check your signal, and then move it around or switch the antennas around a little bit, so you can really get it to exactly solve the problem that you really need to solve.
So maybe one day it's for your office that's upstairs, and maybe one day you bring it out on your front porch because you want to have
because you're having a picnic or something.
Yeah.
Or barbecue.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
really awesome. And how much does it sell for?
It is affordable. The MSRP is $129.99, but there's always, I like to say that there's always promos and things running online too. So you can buy them directly from us on ampedwireless.com, or we are in most major brick and mortar stores, as well as many, many online retailers, from Amazon to Fry's to Best Buy to Walmart. So you can do a lot of price checking and find a deal most days.
And I can tell you, take it from two guys who own 100-year-old houses or thereabouts. At that price, this is a real winner. I think it's a real winner for a lot of people because it's a problem, and you don't want to start rewiring your house. A lot easier to just go find one. And you said the website is Amped Wireless?
Ampedwireless.com. It's AMPED. Amped Wireless.
Ampedwireless.com. We've been talking with Lacey Neddo from Amped Wireless. Lacey, it is a really cool device. We're going to have you back on the show once I get it set up. And now that I know it's only going to take 5 minutes, shame on me. It'll be set up 5 minutes after we're done with the show today. And we'll have you back. We'll talk about it more. I'm really looking forward to taking advantage of it. And thanks for joining us on the show.